Get rid of your habits right now. You don't want to sound like everyone else, and I am not really mad at you right now. I'm just playing with you. But today's lesson is about getting rid of your habits on the guitar fretboard. And I thought about this lesson because in one of my online courses, I have a sheet called the Songwriting Kickstart sheet, where I suggest some rhythmic structures and some chord progressions so you can start with something. Because most of the times when we pick up our guitar to write music, nothing comes out or we are not inspired enough. So when you start from a simple chord progression or a simple rhythmic structure, sometimes it can spark just what is necessary to be creative on the instrument. So the first exercise on this sheet is just a simple C major and E minor chord progression. Just a simple 2-chord progression that is very generic. It's been used a lot. The problem is that I receive a lot of music from my students trying this chord progression, and it always sounds like this. You see where I'm going? It sounds great, but at the same time, it sounds like everyone else. And if you are one of those students, please don't take this personal. This is totally my fault. My free mini course teaches exactly those chords. But like everything, you need to start with the basics. So when you first pick up a guitar, you will most probably learn these open chords like E minor, C major. I would be very surprised if you guys don't know these chords here because we start with them. They are the basics. So same thing goes for ambient guitar. You need to learn spread triads, because they are the basics, the essence of what the ambient guitar genre is. So if you want to be a respected ambient guitar player, you need to know these chords. But the problem happens when these chords become automatic for you. So when you think about a C major chord, you automatically play this one. These chords should only be part of your vocabulary. So in my case, I have used songs that use exactly these chords. One of my very popular one is just sounding like this. So I might sound like an hypocrite a little bit for saying that you shouldn't use these chords because they are generic and I'm showing them to you and I use them myself. But keep in mind that this is just one song out of 70 ambient sketches. I use these chords sporadically when I need to, but I'm not relying solely on the same chords every time, because if you do, you are going to sound like everyone else, generic, and it's not going to be unique. And your goal as a songwriter is to be unique and bring something new to the table. So how can we get rid of our habits when we are playing chords? And it's all about the fingering. So let's say that I want to play C major chord and I start with my index on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Just by habit, I'm gonna build this chord, because I played it so many times that my fingers are just going to go there without thinking about it. So if I play my index here, it's over. I'm gonna play the chord that I'm used to play. So I need to change where and which finger I use to play my C major chord. So let's say that I start on the 8th fret 6th string instead. I could fall into the same pattern of playing the same spread triad again. So instead, I'm going to replace some fingers to make sure that I'm not going to play it like that. So instead of starting with my index and ring, I'm going to replace my ring with my middle finger. So now it's impossible for me to play the same spread triad because I can't that way. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm going to create a different kind of C major chord to get rid of my habit right here. So now I need to build the rest of my chord. I'm gonna use my available fingers. This one is not really great for what I'm searching for. Let's try the pinky. Okay, that's great. And let's just put the ring finger where it lands. So this works well. So now I have my C major chord and it sounds a lot different than... Now it sounds like this. And of course it sounds similar because it's a C major chord still, but it's in a different position and it's not what I'm used to playing. So if we take the example of just finding a song with a chord progression of C followed by E minor, I could play that chord. And then I could just play my E minor with the same position but replacing some fingers. Have the same shape. And just toggle between them. So now I could play a song like this. Let's make another example. Let's say that I will start with my index on the 7th fret of the 5th string. Once again, I'm going automatically to play E minor on the spread triad like this. And I want to avoid that in my E minor C progression. So instead of starting with my index here, I'm gonna start with my middle finger so I don't fall into the same pattern. So let's build a E minor chord from here. I could play the minor third with my index. And I could build with my pinky or my ring. I like this one. So I'm gonna take this one for the E minor. And after that, I want to play C major. If I go here, I'm gonna just unconsciously fall to the same habit. So what I'm going to do is to play my C note in a different way. So I'm gonna start with my pinky instead. So I'm gonna make sure I don't build the same chord. So let's use my pinky and place the fingers roughly at the same place. So here we go, I have a different C major chord and I have a different E minor chord. I'm just replacing my middle finger by my pinky and I have my chord progression. Now I can add a picking pattern. And maybe some passing notes. So now suddenly I have a very different result than just the... I have two different versions. Or I have... And it's the same chord progression, it's just C followed by E minor. It's the same thing, but when you get rid of your habits, you can come up with original music that sounds like you instead of just copying what others are doing. Of course, you need to learn the basics, but after you have to break the mold a little bit. So my best tip is to start from different fingerings and force yourself to find new chord combinations when you play it. So thanks a lot for watching this lesson. If you want to learn the basics, like I said, you can click and have my free mini course in the description box. And subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Don't forget to turn on the notifications to hear about all my next videos. And until next time, au revoir.